Welcome, 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 welcome. How's everybody doing if you're in the 316 format, it's a very hot, steamy afternoon, more hot temperatures. I mean, it's so hot. It's so hot. It is literally so hot that the devil himself actually came and knocked on my door and asked me for a glass of ice water. And I said, you know what? You go back to hell. Straight back. I just did that to kind of lighten the mood, kind of like, women have no business making coffee because I found out it's unscriptorial. I've been doing Bible research for a long time. And no, this is not a Bible podcast. This is going to be a sports podcast. But trust me, I've done some biblical research and I found out that women have no business making coffee because it's unscriptorial. Because if you open up your Bible, the Bible say Hebrews. I just kind of tell that one to kind of perk people up a little bit. But we're gonna go ahead and get into some sports talk news today because there's been some rumors surfacing around in the sports world, and then we also have the Brittany Griner situation that we hope someday we'll be saying she's home along with the other Americans that are wrongfully detained. And before I get into that story, I'm gonna get into another story before the Brittany Griner story. But I read some of the posts on social media what people have to say, and a lot of people are like, "Why does she deserve preferential treatment?" Or "She did the crime, so she has to do the time," and a lot of negativity her way. And I can only imagine those people that are saying those things. If it was their kin folks, their mother, their sister, their auntie, whatever, if it was their kin folks, they probably wouldn't be saying those same things. And then some people are like, why is this country being so selfish and only concerned about Brittany Griner? Brittany Griner herself, when she wrote her letter to the president, she didn't just make it about herself. She was also concerned about the others who are also over there with her. She even mentioned, look, we need to get not just me, but these other Americans home because she knows firsthand what they are dealing with, how they are living, what their conditions are like. So she's not just concerned about herself, she's also concerned about the others. So to those that think that Brittany Griner is being selfish, only thing I have to say is you need to check your thoughts because she's far from being selfish. When she wrote that letter to the president, yes, it would appear that it's about her. But when she makes mention of the fact that there are other Americans that's going through the same thing, she would like to see her and her fellow Americans. That's what it's all about. So let's just, as they say, housekeeping, let's just clear the air, so to speak. All right? All right. Now that we got that out the way, we can proceed to move on. All right? I'm happy to be here, and I hope you are happy to be viewing wherever you are viewing from. In the comment section below, just let me know where you are at and where you're viewing this uh, uh, video from. I would love to know where you're from, and feel free to weigh in. Give me your put it. There is no such thing as wrong comments. Now there are distasteful and disrespectful comments, and that I will not have. I will delete those comments quick, fast, and in a hurry. Yes, we do have freedom of speech and freedom to express our mind, but at the same time, do it in a respectful manner. That's all I ask. Thank you. So there are rumors going around, and Steph Curry addressed one of those rumors. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry with the Golden State Warriors appear to have been put to rest by Curry, which also just so happens to have won another NBA title in June. The rumor of the ask about you take it for what it is, he says. You know how quickly things can change, but I like where we're at. A few weeks ago, Durant surprised the NBA world by stating he wanted to be traded from Brooklyn Nets after only a few seasons with the team. Durant wanted to leave, however, it has been a struggle from injuries to trades. The Nets have yet their footing and lose him, Draymond Green, and Eric. So tell me something. What do you think about these rumors? Or is it just that? Is it just rumors? Sometimes rumors have a way of becoming reality. But in this case, it's one that I just don't see happening. I mean, who would the Warriors give up to get Kevin Durant? Andrew Wiggins? I don't think so. He's a very high key player, whether starting or coming off the bench. Jordan Poole, even though he has some inconsistencies, not going to happen. These players can be developed. Kevon Looney? Nope. James Wiseman, although he didn't get to play this past year because of injuries, from all accounts and all reports, saying that he is on the mend and he looks to be a totally different person next year. One that can get in the paint and claw things up. You have two big guys, Looney and James Wiseman. No, no, no. I don't think the Warriors are going to part ways with some key players for one player. As a matter of fact, I heard it said like this. The Nets right now, because the trade market is not favorable to them, are not looking in such a hurry to move Durant nor Kyrie Irving, which by all accounts, unless something major happens between now and the end of the trade deadline or before training camp ramps up, unless there's some moving parts, expect to see Durant and Kyrie in a Brooklyn Nets uniform. Bottom line, hands down. That's how it's going to be. Some of you may agree with it. Some of you may disagree. But just look at the trade market. I mean, look at what happened. Who would have thought that the Utah Jazz would part ways with Rudy Gobert? You got him along with Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, and some more pieces. Something tells me Minnesota is trying to be a player in the NBA. Gobert is I'll say it like this, he's a damn good player. Can't take it away from him. And you just wonder how long is it going to be before Utah actually really misses his presence. So now you pair him up with Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and some more of those key players on the Minnesota Timberwolves team. Minnesota, I guarantee, will make a deep run in the playoffs next year. Mark my words. Minnesota in the playoffs. Deep run. You heard it first right here. Now we move on to a little bit more serious and unfortunate news. Anybody who listens to my podcast know I will talk women's sports, and I will also talk about the situation at hand because I am one of the ones, and I have to give some podcasts. It's called Girl Chat Sports. You need to check them out because they be. And then I was listening to CBS Sports Radio, listening to one person in particular that I enjoy listening to, JR Sports Brief. These are some of the main people I heard talking about the Brittany Griner situation. Mainstream sports channels, I have a beef to pick with you. I'm going to go ahead and put it out like this. Let's go back to the 80s. Anybody remember when Iran held Americans hostage? This was during the Jimmy Carter era. Some of y'all weren't even born there. Some of y'all, like I said, some of y'all weren't born then, but those of you who were born, remember the Jimmy Carter era. He tried to do a sneak in and sneak out and got some soldiers killed in a helicopter crash. Bottom line, that's what happened. But where I'm getting at is we had news tickers saying every day how long the hostages had been. It was like 100 and something plus days that they had been held hostage. But we was always getting news tickers, which is why I'm kind of disturbed with ESPN, ESPN2, Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, and the overnight talk show hosts or daytime who don't shed light, which is why Kamal gave props to Girl Chat Sports and JR Sport Break, which is why Kamal do it on a regular basis. And you heard me say in the beginning, it's not just about Brittany Griner. It just so happens Brittany Griner happens to be high profile. But as JR Sport Brief said it very plainly, he said there are some strikes against Brittany Griner. She's black. She's a black woman. She's of the gay community, the LGBTQ community. But at the end of the day, even Trevor Reed, I believe it was, the Marine that got out and was concerned about his other fellow Americans, at the end of the day, she's still an American citizen. You may not agree with her preference. Okay, let me go on record, and some of y'all are going to probably want to hush me up. I don't agree with her preference either, but that's her life, okay? It doesn't take away from the fact I enjoy watching her on the court. At the end of the day, she is still a human. She's an American citizen along with others that are wrongfully detained, and we need to do what we can to get her home. So the question is, why did Brittany Griner plead guilty? What to know and what's next in her Russian trial? According to Russian news agencies, American WNBA star Brittany Griner has pleaded guilty to drug possession and smuggling charges during her trial in Moscow. Now, I want somebody to explain to me what in the heck is constituted as drug smuggling. Is it a vape pen or is it pounds of illegal drugs that would be considered smuggling? To me, if it's a vape pen that accidentally gets put in your luggage or you didn't have it when you thought you had it accidentally, that's for your own recreational use, I do believe. Of course, America and Russia probably have two different laws as to how smuggling is defined. So we have to look at the Russian way since that's how it's done. Anyway, according to Russian news agency, American WNBA star Brittany Griner has pleaded guilty to drug possession and smuggling charges during her trial in Moscow. Griner was detained in February at Moscow's I hope I can pronounce this word right, Sheremetyevo Airport after vape canisters with cannabis oil allegedly were found in her luggage. The reports Thursday said that speaking through an interpreter, Griner says she had acted unintentionally because she was packing in haste. And I can understand that part. Now, anybody else who wants to say, well, she's a WNBA star, she's this, she that, she should know better. Think about how many times that you were doing something in haste and something happened that you did not intend to happen. You have to stop looking at who the person is and think logically about the situations that you have been in that were, as this says, unintentionally. The trial began last week. Why was Brittany Griner in Russia? Plain and simple. For one, WNBA does not pay them millions and millions of dollars like their male counterparts. And that's a debate within itself for another day and time. So to answer that question, like many WNBA stars, including Mercury teammate Diana Taurasi, Griner has played in Russia for the last 7 years during the winter, earning more than $1 million per season, more than quadruple her WNBA salary. She last played for her Russian team UMMC, and I'm not going to butcher that word, on January the 29th, before the league took a 2-week break in early February for the FIBA World Cup qualifying tournaments. She was arrested in Moscow upon returning to Russia on February 17th. So what does Brittany Griner's guilty plea mean? The move is not expected to end her trial in Russia anytime soon. Even with the guilty plea in Russia criminal courts, The trial will continue. The judge will read the full case into the record, which could take weeks or even months. According to reports, Griner said in English, "I'd like to plead guilty, Your Honor, but there is no intent. I didn't want to break the law." Her words were then translated into Russian for the court. The next court date was scheduled for July 14th, but Griner has requested more time to prepare her testimony. USA Today quoted Jameson Firestone, an attorney and Russian legal expert, saying Griner's guilty plea could be part of a strategy to get a more lenient sentence or to help facilitate a prisoner swap that could bring Griner home. The plea was also made in recognition that there was no chance she would be acquitted of the charges. Griner's been charged with large-scale transportation of drugs. Once again, I need to know what is the interpretation of large-scale transportation, since there was a vape pen with cannabis oil. It must have been a pretty damn large vape pen and a lot of cannabis oil for it to be considered large scale. Anyway, she could face 10 years in prison. Her detention has been authorized until December 20th. So once again, here's something I want you to weigh in on. Does the time, if she gets that time, fit the crime? Anyway, could Brittany Griner be released? State Department issued a statement Thursday saying would continue to work for Griner's release. Elizabeth Rue, deputy chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, told reporters after the hearing that she spoke to Griner in the courtroom. At that time, she shared a letter with Griner that had been sent by President Joe Biden. Says, "I would like again to emphasize the commitment of the U.S. government at the very highest level to bring home safely Ms. Griner and all U.S. citizens wrongfully detained, as well as the commitment of the U.S. Embassy in Moscow to care for and protect the interests of all U.S. citizens detained or imprisoned in Russia," Rude said. A handwritten letter from Griner's representatives was passed on to the White House on Monday. In the letter, Griner expressed her fear that she might stay in prison in Russia forever and called on Biden to use all his powers to get her and others. See, that's what I was telling you about earlier before I even got here. It says to use all his power to get her and others who are detained in Russia home. So no, Britain is not playing the selfish card. He takes this to heart, said White House Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre, confirming that Biden had read the letter. He takes this job very seriously, especially when it comes to bringing home U.S. nationals who are wrongfully detained. So, once again, in the comments section, I want to hear from you, the listening public, who is listening to this video broadcast. Tell me what it is you think about the rumors concerning Kevin Durant, how Steph Curry responded to it, and this Brittany Griner situation, because trust me, if you don't see me on here talking about it, it's going to be on my podcast, hands down, because this is sports related, and I think every major sports outlet, because let's just put it this way, let me play devil's advocate. I want to play devil's advocate right now. Let's say if this was somebody, let me pick on a couple of male athletes, NBA athletes. They ain't even got to be the star. Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green. Okay, I'll give you one high profile. Luka Doncic. Well, there might be some leniency for him. I'll explain that some other time. That could get kind of dicey. Damian Lillard. I'll give you those three right there. If they were detained over there in Russia, How do you think the sports media would actually be treating that situation then? I'm gonna tell you how they would be treating that situation. Every day we would know exactly how many days it's been, what's going on, and what kind of deal is being made at the White House to secure their freedom and the freedom of other Americans. I can guarantee you that would happen. ESPN, Fox Sports One, Fox Sports Radio, ESPN Radio, CBS, every last one of those major outlets I just mentioned, I can guarantee you right about now, they would be on top of it. We would know how many days it's been. We have to calculate how many days it's been for Brittany Griner. We know it's been over 100 days. That we do know. But there should be some kind of ticker. I mean, basically, Brittany Griner is getting, in essence, the HBCU treatment, lack of respect, because of her gender, because of her sexual preference, and I'll also say because of the color of her skin. Women get treated a whole lot different in America than their male counterparts. Bottom line. Hey, I can't help it. I'm a male. I was born a male. I was born a man. I love being a man. But I had a mama too. And if there's one way you want to tick me off, it's two ways. Disrespect children, disrespect elderly people, especially your mama. The one that the one who gets the most mistreatment is the one that has to carry us around for 9 months and labor and toil and go through a hell of a lot of pain. And this is how we treat. Anyway, I know this is a sports podcast, sports video, but I just had to go there. I just had to keep it real. So, like I say, feel free to leave comments. There is no such thing as a right or wrong comment, but there is a such thing as a distasteful and a disrespectful one. I won't have that. So be respectful with your comments. So until the next time, enjoy the rest of this weekend. I enjoyed bringing this info to you, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to it and viewing it as well. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share. The more likes I get, it just helps with, as I heard one guy say, it just helps with the algorithms. And subscribe to this broadcast. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Enjoy the weekend. God bless. I'm out.